Recently, I was talking with my sister about the Usher yarn story I shared called Strange Happenings in Far North Queensland, as it recounted an eerie occurrence that happened while we were together celebrating her birthday at a local creek. We spoke about this for a little bit and remembered how it felt to know you were being watched and how frightened that made us feel. She then went on to remind me of another story that happened in that same section of the river. It was a couple of years after the encounter we shared. She had her 3 younger children with her, and they had set up on the corner of the river that was about 200 metres away from the Causeway Bridge. It was later on in the afternoon, so that they were the only ones there. The eldest of the 3 children, who was about 16 at the time, loved to fish, so he left his mother and his younger siblings and headed downstream to the bridge to throw a line off it. There was a deep hole off the left side of the bridge where a couple of large trees grew right on the riverbank. Their roots grew into the water where the fish like to hide. My sister was watching the younger 2 swim in the shallows and jump off the clay cliff into the water. She described it as moving from twilight to dusk, where your eyes struggled a bit to find the detail in what you were looking at. She made a fire and gave the kids the old, "You've got 15 minutes of swimming left, so make the most of it." Alarmingly, she then heard crunching in the sand, moving quickly towards her. She was surprised and looked in that direction, but couldn't see anything in the light that was left. All of a sudden, her older son dove onto the towel that was next to her in the fire. He was shaking and out of breath. My sister asked him what was wrong. It took a while for him to catch his breath, and then he said, "There was something in the trees." She asked him what he meant. He then went on to say that as he was fishing, he heard a loud rustling above him and saw the branches of the large tree next to the water shake, as if something large was on its branches, jumping up and down. It scared him so much he bolted, leaving his fishing line still in the water and his tackle box and bait on the bridge. My sister tried to calm him down the best she could, as she didn't want to scare the younger 2. They packed up, put the fire out, and made their way back to their car. On the way out, they crossed the bridge to collect his belongings. When he jumped out of the car at the spot where he had been fishing at, his line, tackle box, and the bread he'd been using for bait were gone. There was nothing to collect.